For the individuals who have never worked union, we have a term that we use called organizing. Can you, in your own words, explain what organizing is or what the benefits of organizing would be for them?
So organizing for us, it's a pretty natural term. I know what it means, but I get what you're saying. The general public really might not have knowledge of what that organizing terms means. So what organizing is essentially is making your workplace union or working with us to make other workplaces union. So for us, that's been a huge focus because as you said in previous years, we really didn't organize. We really didn't go out and look for those contractors that we could represent and be union.
It was just given to us.
Yeah, so as a result, like we've lost a lot of market share over the years and we've lost a lot of contractors and we've lost a lot of members. I'm told in the early 2000s, we had over 1,600 commercial painters in Alberta and now we're down to probably under 100. So we're looking to grow that market share. So we employ union members. We employ non-union employees. Sorry, I say employ, but we establish a relationship with them to work with them, to show them the benefits of being union, to convey that message in their workplace so that we can hold potential votes in order to, so in Alberta, the way organizing works, you have to go and you have to get support cards signed. Once you reach, I believe it's 50% in Alberta, it might be 40. So I have 3 different provinces legislation rattling around in my head right now. But once you kind of have the majority of support cards signed, you go in and you file them with the labor board and then you hold a vote to make sure that that's actually what those members want. So we need a lot of information from the time we step foot in a workplace to the time that vote takes place to make sure it goes in our favor. And that's where we'll employ what we call friendlies to help us along the way to make sure the people at that workplace actually want to be union. If not, kind of what's the point, right? We're wasting resources. Or we'll ask them for people's opinions on unions. We'll work with them to try to build those relationships.
I've known a handful of individuals who've worked for a non-union company. And when I say non-union, I'm not talking about clack, right? Like, I mean just maybe a mom and
Just
pop.
open shop.
Yes,
Yep.
open shop, okay? And so for those of you who don't know, you have clack, you have union, and then you have a really small company that is neither of those entities. There have been individuals I've met over the years where they worked for a company like that, okay? We'll say company ABC as an example, so I'm not dropping anyone's name and having a cease and desist letter. So company ABC, they find out that, okay, it's slow right now, but we have work maybe in the city of Edmonton or Calgary, wherever it is, and guys gotta pay bills, so they come work for them. But they come there, they work, they're getting paid, and the first thing that the employer says is, hey man, I know you're union, or I know you're this, I don't want none of that union shit being talked about. And no, people who don't know, like, your employer, if you are non-union, cannot threaten you or hold your job over your head and say, if you talk about organizing or if you want to become union, I will fire your ass. That is so illegal, and a lot of people don't know that, and they get intimidated or shook with fear, I should say, that my job is on the line. So if people want to organize, that's your legal right as a worker.
It's a Canadian right, actually. It's in the Charter of Rights and Freedoms. Your ability to organize and be represented by a union is protected. So what you're referring to is called an unfair labor practice, where if your employer threatens, coerces you at any time to kind of discontinue a vote or not talk about the union, or they fire you for talking union at work, like that's protected. We can go after them for that. So there is protections in place for people that do want to unionize their workplace.
Let's say, for example, I'm trying to unionize a company and you're my employer. If you came up to me and like, hey man, like come up to my lake lot this weekend, like let's go boating, let's have a barbecue and stuff, and try and persuade me into not following through with it, that's illegal, correct?
Correct. So any form of coercion has to be provable, but I mean, if you can send me a picture of you with Buddy at the lake on his boat and the conversation that was had, that's super helpful on our end. It again, like it all breaks down to those employers. So what we found in our research is that companies will actually bring in what they call labor relations firms, and these are union busters. They'll spend money on these firms to come in and convince their employees that they don't want a union, and they're paying them big bucks because they're scared that they're actually going to have to pay what they're paying to the potential union members in their unit. It's going to cut into their profit margins, but I mean, these companies are making big bucks. Like, why shouldn't the workers get a portion of that?
Let's say you're paying your commercial contractors $35 an hour, right? And then the non-union sector comes in and they're like, well, we're gonna pay 32. The companies actually come in there and they are charging out approximately the same rate. So let's say with your dental, your pension, your weight, everything, it costs maybe $70 or whatever it is a head to be on site. That company is charging you out for this is what you're getting paid, your 35 bucks an hour, whatever it may be. And then if you're working non-union, they're charging the exact same rates. They're charging you out exact same, but they're paying you less. And then if you work for a company that doesn't have benefits, it doesn't have a retirement package, you're losing out on those two things. And then if you have to pay for, let's say, Blue Cross or your own RSPs, whatever it may be, well, that's coming out of your wages. So your $32 an hour, you might as well drop that down to, let's say, 25, 26, maybe. I understand a job is a job, and at the end of the day, people got bills. 100%, you gotta do what you gotta do to provide. But why would you cut yourself short when realistically A and B are charging the same, but over here on the union side, you're getting more of the rewards in comparison to a non-union company that doesn't have benefits, they don't have a pension, they don't have these things in place. So you're paying out of pocket for your prescriptions, your eyewear, everything.
Yeah, it's kind of like a double whammy, like you said. Like, you're not having the employer pay it, it's coming out of your pocket, so you're getting hit twice. Plus, you're probably getting paid that lower wage. Instead of 35 bucks an hour, you're getting paid 32 bucks an hour. So the employer is saving a ton of money. And where is that going? Usually in the owner's pockets. So the premise of a union is to redistribute that wealth and take it from the owner's pockets and put it back into the members so that they can afford the basics of life. They can afford to raise a family. They can work with dignity in our environments. One of the most common questions we get asked when we're starting to talk to potential members, or even members that have dropped. So if you don't stay working union and you don't pay your monthly dues, you can drop after a period of time. We reach out to those members and we talk to them and say, hey, why did you drop? Why are you working here? Oh, well, there was no union work for me. If you have one of those union jobs, I'll take one. I'm like, we can make more union jobs for you. You got to work with us to help organize your place of employment. And that's how we do it.
I've met a lot of scaffolders, because like, that's what I do, that in a heartbeat would go back to the union.
I hear it all the time, yeah.
Right? I would love to go back union. I want my double ball. Like, that's the biggest one for me, is like, I want my double time. I want the live out allowance. I want the travel, like all these things that we used to get, and in some places still get, depending on the agreement. You don't see as much, right? But nobody wants to sit there and put their feet down and stand on all 10 and be like, no, like, we want this, we need to come together, and we need to do this. I think there's a lot of intimidation or fear at the idea of, well, if we unionize or we rock this boat, we're gonna get in trouble. If you look at what happened, I think it was with the operator equipment union, I think it was them, they just took a huge chunk of work in the Fort McMurray area from CLAC.
So it was actually in Edmonton. It's the operating engineers. They took over, I believe it's either a it's a maintenance shop. It was mostly heavy duty mechanics working on equipment. They took 113 people from CLAC and made them OE members, and now they represent that workplace. It was a huge win for the construction trades. We were super excited to hear about it. I mean, it opened the door for other unions to start looking at CLAC. So what CLAC is, for people that don't know, it's not a real union. It's employer-led rather than traditional unions that serve the needs of the membership, the employees. And they're focused on, again, putting profits in the pockets of the company owners, not so much redistributing it to the actual people that are working those jobs. And we're starting to see that collective power grow. I mean, unions have kind of taken a hit over the years, especially in Alberta, because we've been predominantly non-union or open shop. And we're starting to see members rally, both for themselves and for their working brothers and sisters, to get back what they used to have. Over the years, and especially with the recession and COVID, we lost a lot of that stuff in our collective agreements. Double time went away. We have it back now, thankfully. Increases weren't there. Those are starting to come back.
I'm not trying to say I'm inciting violence when I say this, but when you look at two of the most respected unions, in my opinion, this is just my personal opinion, that they don't mess around. Like, when they say they're going to do something, they're all about it. The Boilermakers, Like hands down, they do not screw around, or the iron workers. Hell, even maybe the crane operators too. I'll throw them in there.
I'd agree with that.
Right?
Well, and the thing with those trades, if they don't participate, the work doesn't get done.
Ain't nobody doing
Yep.
shit without them. And especially on an industrial project or even commercial for that matter, right? If they say no, well, you bet your ass it's going to be at a standstill. Now, that's where I'm saying, like, I'm not trying to incite violence, but it's the solidarity.
Yeah,
right?
that was
And
the
a lot
key
of
word that popped into my mind as you were
Right.
talking about that.
There's a lot of people that will whine, bitch, or complain, being like, I don't like this, or I don't want that, whatever it may be. But nobody's actually acting on it. Everyone wants to bitch, everyone wants to complain. But if there's enough of you all bitching about, hey, like, they're taking this away, or they're not allowing this, or they're pushing us in this direction, get the fuck together, stand on all 10, and be like, no, we're not gonna take this. We're not just gonna roll over and let you piss in our backyard. Like, you need us. We understand that we have an obligation to be here and provide a level of professionalism and so on and so forth, because that is the expectation of us. But you do not get the right to walk all over us. You do not get the right to push us around and treat us like dirt, whether that's a contractor, your employer, the client, whoever it may be, co-workers, foremans. You guys have that right. When you guys come together, it's not just one person. Like, that's a lot of strength. Like, that's a very big voice to not be heard.
Well, and I think that's something that's gotten lost over the years due to the decrease in union market share and kind of the legislation where we operate. It's not the most labor-friendly legislation. We have a lot of hurdles we have to climb. So it's kind of a balancing act with how far do we push, or can we push when we have disgruntled members. And I think it's come full circle now where we are starting to recognize our power that we have as members. And we work in our own local, but we also work with the other construction trades to show that solidarity in the province of Alberta. If someone were to go on strike, like, we could be right there with them on the picket line, supporting them, or establishing certain practices to support them in the workplace. One of the things we're super excited about, and it's going to happen, we're having our initial launch on June 1st here in Edmonton. Our international has actually taken it upon themselves to recognize that power seems to have been lost or misunderstood over the years. Like, we went from huge market share in the States and Canada to very little, just due to the waning popularity of these unions. And what we're doing is we're hosting a series of classes basically to build that power back up. We're reaching out to our members, informing them of the way it used to be and the actions that we can take as a group in order to get that power back over the coming years. It's called Building Union Power, and we're super excited to see the launch here on the first week of June.
So we're talking about solidarity, right? Like, that, to me, a true brotherhood or a true union, sisterhood, whatever you want to call it, is I got your six through and through. Like, it doesn't matter what's going on, I got you. Some people will look at unions that protect lazy, they protect the bums, whatever it may be, but in the day, it's to make sure that everyone has the same field to play on, that the same rules apply for everyone. And people are watching this that don't work union, and maybe they're curious about it. Like, what are the steps you would recommend for them to look into becoming union?
So we've actually focused on that a lot. Unions are probably one of the best kept secrets, especially in Alberta, because of that waning interest over the years. So what we've done, I mean, we've set up our website to be open to people looking to unionize. So we have a lot of resources on there. So it's www.dc17.ca, so District Council 17. You go on there and there's all sorts of resources that we link to on how to become union, the benefits of being union. If you have questions, our contact info is on there for you to reach out to an organizer or even one of our reps. So that's kind of the big step to take, is reaching out to the union and having those conversations with our employed representatives here, and what a union can do for you and how to organize your workplace.
Now, let's say someone watches this video and they're not a painter. Maybe they're a millwright, maybe they're a mechanic or a carpenter, whatever it may be. They want to become a union, they want to organize, they want to inquire, whatever it is. Can they contact you guys and you guys point them in a direction of who to go and meet up with, or how they take additional steps if need be?
100%. So that's also another part of solidarity, is the unions in Alberta work together. So we're a part of the Building Trades of Alberta. It's a great organization. They've taken a lot of steps in the last few years to put forward our member interest to government. to other unions. So in that partnership, we work with the other locals in Alberta. So if I have somebody walk in the door that wants to be a millwright, I'm not equipped to handle their best needs. I will 100% refer them over to the millwrights union if that's the case. We have a great relationship with the business managers, the staff at the other union halls. Like, we are open and communicating with them on a weekly basis.
Now, if, well, let's say someone's in the process of organizing and they're taking all the steps they need to, and they get sidelined or hit from left field by maybe co-workers, their employer, they start getting intimidated, threatened, harassed, or whatever it may be, to like, hey, you should really reconsider what you're thinking here. How does that play out for someone in like a best case, worst case scenario?
So we have some pretty open relationships with people in those types of workplaces that are trying to organize. They're trying to convince people to vote in favor of this. And you're right, you can lose a lot of people. So in Alberta, the way it's legislated is you get those support cards, and then you have to organize this vote to make sure that's actually what the members want. And you lose a lot of people between submitting those cards and having that actual vote take place, whether it's through employer coercion, which isn't allowed, that's a ULP or an unfair labor practice, or just they start spinning in their own mind, like, should I really be doing this? Is it risky? Am I going to mess up my family's lifestyle? Which your mind can play all sorts of games with you in between that time of us filing the cards and having that vote. And where we step in, we try to have those discussions, but not everybody wants to talk to us. So unfortunately, it does happen where the vote is not successful. And for those people that have been helping us, we will offer them membership into our union and give them the same benefits that our union members have. So if it doesn't work out there, or they decide, hey, like, I don't want to keep working at this non-union place, we can try to place them in a union environment in the end.
I think some people's fears, and I can't say I'm speaking for everyone, but if I was working for a non-union company, and let's say a union rep came to site and tried to pitch me a sale, being like, this is why you should be union, this, and this. In my mind, I might look at that and be like, okay, so you want us to vote you in. And once we vote you in, are you just gonna bring in your guys, place them in our positions, and then kick all of us out, and now I'm going to the curb trying to find a job? Do people need to worry about that?
Not at all. So the way our collective agreement is worded is, if you're a member, you are treated the same as the other members. So once you organize and that collective agreement is in effect at your workplace, you're now a union member. You're treated the same as a union member that has 40 years of history as a union member with 1 day of history. Like, your job is pretty protected there. Like, we would not bring in other workers to replace you. That's just not a thing in our world.
Just to reiterate, if you work at a company and you're talking about organizing, and your worry or your fear is, well, if we bring in these union guys and we got to show them the ropes, we got to train them up so they're familiarized with this area, I'm going to lose my job. That's not
a thing, no. So typically when we come in and we start representing a company, we represent those members, we put their interests first. The only time we would bring in previous union members is if they had an opening. We wouldn't replace people that have a secure job or people that are currently working there, but if there was, hey, we need some more help in the shop, we need another level 1 apprentice, then we would supply. Yeah, we would never come in and take someone's job out from under them.
They're not here to take your jobs, man.
We're here to work with you. But one thing I didn't mention, when you become a new member in our district council, one of the things we felt was holding people back, or even those members that maybe previously dropped, they used to be a member, but they didn't pay their dues, so now they've fallen out with us. It was kind of hard to get them back with our initiation fees, the way they were structured. So typically when you join a union, you pay a fee, and that covers kind of the administrative costs, the costs associated with signing you up. What we've done as of January 1st, 2026, we've gotten rid of those initiation fees. So there's really like no borders for people that want to join. One of the other things we've done, and again, we look at this on a yearly basis to make sure that the fund can support it. One of the other contributions that an employer pays is to the training fund. So they pay so many cents an hour to invest in yourself as a painter, as a glazer, to get you trained, send you to apprenticeship, get you into those safety courses. When I started out as an instructor with the hall, and one of the biggest barriers, I think, was the hall's not going to pay for new people to take that training. So it's in our CBA where probationary employees, they don't qualify because they haven't paid into the fund. So they need to show up with their certs ready to go. If you're going up to Fort Mac or you're going to any oil sand sites, it can be up to $1,500 in training. So we look at it, like I said, on a yearly basis to make sure that training fund can support it. But right now we're paying for those courses for people that have a commitment from an employer to send them to work. So you're not out of pocket the initiation fees. You're also not out of pocket for those safety training courses in order for us to get you to work.